What's up, YouTube? This is Kirito HD Gaming coming at you with a. It's going to be like a rant video, but it's going to be a video based off what I would do with attackers on buff nerf balancing and how I think Ubisoft failed and how the designs for the kits need to be changed overall to make these operators more balanced and more fluid for gameplay and not just everything based off weapon play, and it actually revolves around, oh, the kit is what I need to be bringing, not just a weapon. First, we're going to start off with the striker. Striker is set no, just fine. I think striker has no issues. I think having a DMR, a LMG, and a assault rifle to his access is perfect. Now, do I think he needs a better DMR? Yes, but the DMR is fine. I think having access to all the unique abilities is perfectly fine. I think there's nothing wrong. Ugh, excuse me. With Striker. Sledge now. I'm gonna be honest about Sledge. I think for Sledge, he has the L85A2 with the shotgun, with the pistol, with the Reaper Mark II grenades, stuns, and EMP grenades. Impact EMP grenades. I think what they need to do with Sledge is one thing. Just take away the Reaper Mark II and give him the SMG-11 back. That's final. I honestly think that's. I think they just need to go back to what he used to be. I honestly, I'm gonna be real. Maybe keep him with the 2 speed, 2 armor instead of a 3 speed or whatever he was in the past. I don't remember what he was in the past, honestly, with the speed and health. Because I know they changed him so many times. But like, definitely give him the SMG-11 back. And if you want, keep him at 2 speed, 2 health. Thatcher. He has the LA5 and the AR-33, DMR, shotgun, pistol, claymores, and breach charges. And he helps out basically hard breachers get wall. And then just disabling electronics for a certain time period. The fact that he has 4 weapons is crazy. I think they should just take away the shotgun from him. I'm gonna be honest. I think the shotgun should just be taken away, and he has these 3 variety choices. And I think for Thatcher, me personally, I think if you take away either his claymores or breach charge and give him smokes. I don't know which one. I personally think you should take away his breach charge and put smokes because I don't think Thatcher is ever going to be considered a breaching operator. So having soft breaches is kind of useless in my opinion. And if you really want to, you can keep the shotgun if you want somewhat of a soft breach capability. But I think one of these two gadgets definitely need to go for smokes. I think that's just me personally. Um, Ash, I think Ash's R4C needs to go back in the magazine to 31 instead of 26, and that is the only thing that needs to be done with the R4C. The G36C is, I think, me personally, I think it's fine the way it is. I think you could technically just bump the damage to 39 and just keep the same fire rate as the R4C. They're both 5.56, so they should both be basically similar in damage, which they are. So I think the G366 is just fine where it is. Yeah, claymores and breaching charges. Now Ash is one a frag operator, a soft breach operator. So I think having soft breaches is a no go for me. I think I think what they need to do is she has claymores, and then she should get the option to have flashbangs. And then her grenade launcher gets 1 extra round, meaning she gets 3 grenade launcher rounds, but no more soft breaches. And then flashbangs, and then claymores, and then flashbangs go back to having 3 instead of 2. I think that would make Ash just a perfect operator in general. I think would it cause problems? with people playing her for her weapon because she gets 31 again? I don't think so. Because there's still the recoil there. I mean, even though some people just play the R4C only and they got the recoil down now. But I think making the kit more designed like that, I think people would play her more for her kit than just her weapon. Because you're adding the ability to have 3 flashbangs or 2 claymores to your kit on top of 3 breaching rounds instead of 2. I think that's perfect in my opinion. Thermite, I think Thermite's actually fine overall. Um, Honestly, I think he's at 5 overall. I think the only thing I would do personally with Thermite is gives him access to claymores again. So he has access to 3 gadgets, not just 2. Or you'll just add claymores to it. You'll keep the smokes and stun option, but you'll also add the claymores to it. And I think Thermite's good. Twitch, me personally, I'm gonna be honest with Twitch. I think you should jump her damage up to 40 instead of 37, and then make her vertical recoil slightly higher, not much higher, just slightly, just a smidge. Like where the red is, instead of at the tip of the top of the head, make the red at the top, like at the very top, and make the orange basically at the tip almost of the top of the head. Just by a smidge. And what else I would do is I would redesign the vertical grip to where the vertical grip gives you a 15. I think it's either 15 or 20%. I think it is now. I think what the vertical grip should do in general is give you a 20% vertical recoil reduction, while the flash hider should give you a 10% vertical recoil reduction. And I don't think it gives you 10. I think it gives you like 15 or whatever. I think the barrel option should give you 10 and the vertical grip should give you 20. I think that's what I personally that's what I think would should happen. And I think the compensator should give you a 15%, 15 to 20% or somewhere around there for the horizontal reduction. And then muzzle brake, I don't really mess with muzzle brake, but the way they're doing DMRs, I probably wouldn't touch them because I don't even know what they plan are doing. So until they do the whole entire overhaul to DMRs, I won't really get into it and think what it should do because I don't know everything about the DMRs either, honestly. Because they got multipliers that I don't know about that I actually recently knew about. Um, you got the recentering, you have the first shot recoil, and all that stuff. And I think there's other things that they were talking about too. I have to get into it more to actually dictate what I would do with DMRs. I think when they overhaul the DMRs, I think all DMRs in the game should be at 55 to 65 damage only. I think every DMR in the game besides Glaz and Cowley, because technically they're sniper rifles, um, I think every marksman rifle in the game should be at 55 to 65 damage. Nothing higher than 65, nothing lower than 55. And I think majority of the DMR should be around the 60, like the 57 to 60 range is where I think most of them should be at. And I think all mag sizes should be at 10. I think all mag sizes should be at 10 with one in the chamber. So every DMR in the game should only have 11 bullets. I think that's fair game, in my opinion. That's what I would do with DMRs. But what else I would do with DMRs is you get no access to ACOG anymore. So all you get access to is the telescopes, the telescope, which is 3.5 magnifications, or non-magnifying one times, or iron sights. You do not get access to ACOG. So then the marksman rifles should be used for how a marksman rifle should be used. Either telescopic for long range fighting or one time scopes, because I don't think anyone's going to use irons. So one time scopes if you want to use the DMR for close range. And I think ACOG should just be taken away from them in general. They should be on par with what the Glaz and Cali snipers are. And this is where I will go into one thing about defense, because this is only about attack, but since the DMRs are on defense, I think two things should have happened with the DMRs on defense. And I said this in my other video. DMRs should be taken away off defense for one, and if you don't want to take them off of defense, then the DMR's ACOG should be taken away. I think those are your two best bets. Obviously, I think they should still do an overhaul recoil change to the DMRs, but not just taking a muzzle brake away or messing with the first shot recoil stuff. Actually, an entire overhaul. They really need to get to that like now. I don't know why they take forever to do things, but because DMRs have been in this game forever, obviously. It's been in the game since day one, and they should have known how powerful these guns were with all the cheating devices that are now coming out, is for one, and then the fact that people will find any meta to use to get an advantage. And I think DMR should have been having an overhaul to their entire system in general already, but we'll see how long it takes for them to actually do something like that. But like for instance, to get off the DMR, I think the F2 should go up to 40 damage and have maybe slight higher vertical recoil, just slight. Um, the pistols are fine. Claymores and smokes is fine. She's basically fine in general. Montang, I'm not really gonna get much into the shields because the pistols are fine in my opinion. I don't think he should have a Magnum. I think he should only have access to pistols like this. But Magnum's a fine choice for people that want it. Impacts and smokes. I think having Montang is either going to be two operators. Your operator that's going to try to plant the bomb and put the shield on the back. Your operator that pushes forwards and ping locations to where the enemies are and stuff. So having a hard breach charge, yes and no. It's good and it doesn't make a difference. I just think it's a useless gadget for him where you could probably put it on somebody else instead of him. I think that's just what I would do. Glaz, I think Glaz is fine. I think Glaz is fine. I think the Gon 6 should disappear off Glaz and it should go to somebody else in my opinion. Um Smoke grenades with claymores and frags. That's perfectly fine for Glaz in my opinion. Oh, but for Glaz, I think Glaz, he has 15 bullets with one in the chamber, so 16. I did say that Glaz, I said all marksman rifles slash sniper rifles should only have 10 bullets with one in the chamber. But I also think Glaz, I'm going to be honest with this, Glaz, his weapon should be a two-shot no matter what. Sadly, sometimes this weapon weirdly is not a two-shot. And that is also because the arms and the legs multiplier is only 53. Me personally, I think Glaz's sniper should do like 80 damage instead of 71. But honestly, I don't know if that's not it's not gonna one shot anyone still. Sadly, you're just gonna make people super low if you only hit them once. So in general, 71. I honestly I don't know what I would do, but I think me personally, I would like his sniper at 80. Because it would theoretically put that person you shot that you didn't kill, it would technically put them at a one shot capability compared to everyone else. That's what it would really technically do, is put them at one shot no matter what. But it also makes it to where people won't repeat a glass either if they get shot once. Because 80 damage, like you're basically already a one tap now. So reswinging is a high risk. Fuse. I've been saying this about Fuse. Fuse needs the option to put all his fuses down. Like he has four fuses, right? He should be able to put two fuses down at the same time. So he puts one and then puts another one somewhere else, and then you hit another button to actually trigger it. Or actually know what you do instead of doing that. You know how with Habana you can change your pellets before you shoot them? With fuses, you change it to, instead of activating one at a time, you change it to where you can put one and another one down, and then you change it back and then activate it, so you can be able to like have two go off at the same time. I think that would make Fuse a lot better, in my opinion. And him having smokes, breach charges, and frags is perfect, in my opinion too. I still don't think he should have a shield. I think the only operators that have shields are Blackbeard, Blitz, and Montang. I think those are the only operators that should have shields. So I honestly think Ballistic Shield should go away from Fuse, and I just don't think anyone else should have Ballistic Shield in general, in my opinion. Blitz, soft breaches with smoke grenades, with the flash shield and a pistol. I think this is actually perfect. Honestly, I think that's perfect. IQ. Me personally, with IQ, I think I'm gonna be honest. I just think her ability is useless in general now due to everything that there is now. So she needs a rework, in my opinion. I'm gonna be honest, she needs a rework, and I think her rework should probably be online with something that Thatcher kind of does. But then you have two types of Thatcher, so it'd be useless. But if you think about it, Thatcher really took her job away, because not only Thatcher EMPs it, but you can literally see what gadgets on this device thing. So like in general, IQ is kind of useless, and I don't know what you can really do to her. That's why I said I think she needs a rework. I think what you could do, I think IQ's rework could be having a heartbeat sensor on the weapon itself. On her primary weapons, you have a heartbeat sensor. So when you're going around the map, you have a little beep like you would on like what is it called? On like Pulse, when you have his scanner out, it basically will have a scanner on her gun that will tell you. Now that would kind of be overpowered because the fact that it doesn't put you at a disadvantage because it's on your gun. So that is the only downside. And then theoretically, you already have that in Solid Snake. So like I said, I really don't know what I would do with IQ. Her guns are good. Having grenades, claymores, and breach charges are good. Everything's good about her. It's just her ability is useless. Her abilities are just useless in my opinion. And I don't know what else you could really do with it. Buck is fine. There's nothing to change with Buck. Claymores, flashbangs. You have claymores and flashbangs. I think he should have access to frags again, in my opinion. But he's basically just a soft breaching operator. I think he's fine. Blackbeard is fine. I wouldn't do anything to him. Capital. Capital is actually fine. He's at a really good point. I think nothing's wrong with Capital. I think if anything, with Capital, if anything, I would take away the impact EMP grenades because the fact that he has a hard breach charge and EMP grenades, he should only have one. So taking away his EMP grenade should go on somebody that would use it more. That's just my opinion. But his kit's really good because technically, if you use the LMG and then the Gon 6, you have the LMG, you have the Gon 6 for soft breaching, like castles and stuff, and then you have the hard breach charge to hard breach walls. That's what I would use Capital for. Habana, what I would do with Habana is, like I said, she needs to be on par with the AK-12, so I would give her weapon 30 bullets. I would give her weapon 30 bullets with one in the chamber, which is 31. And then honestly, from there, I wouldn't do anything else. And then if you really complain about her having 31 bullets in her gun with the bearing 9 as a sidearm still, if you really want to, take away the bearing 9 and have her have a pistol only with the 31 bullets in the Type 89. I don't think people would be mad about that if you want that for purposely balancing. But since she has a DMR too, I think the bearing 9 should stay. I think that just makes it fair and square in my opinion. And then Claymore's breach charges and stun grenades is fine, I guess. I don't know. I mean, breach charging, I think, should not be on a hard breacher, but then again, Ace has breach charges too, so it's just a personal preference thing. I mean, it's a good thing because I guess a hard breacher has the ability to breach soft breaches without using their hard utility, which it's funny that the one person that doesn't have it is Thermite. Because if you really think about it, Thermite doesn't have that option. He doesn't have frag grenades like Maverick to destroy castles, and he doesn't have a soft breach gadget to destroy castles. He only has his hard breach gadgets. And then that's where you get into the nitty gritty of it's kind of not fair that Ace has soft breaches, Habana has soft breaches, and Maverick has grenades. So every hard breacher has some type of soft breaching ability. So yes, I think that is where the unfair part comes into play. Jackal, I'm gonna be honest. Jackal needs to go back to his old school self. And the reason why I say this right now is because how are you gonna have Deimos and Solid Snake do the thing that Solid Snake literally shows the arrow where the opponent is, and then Deimos is basically giving the enemy walls and you walls, and you fight one on one. And that's basically what these two operators do. But you're telling me Jackal can't have it? And this is why I say Jackal needs to go back to his normal self again. Because then people wouldn't just be banning hard breachers or ban Dokkaebi or ban um because look, hard breachers, Dokkaebi, Solid Snake is banned, um shield operators are banned. Operators like that are banned. If you do good on Deimos, Deimos is banned. If Grim becomes annoying, Grim is banned. Like it would take away from a lot of these like always banned operators if you make Jackal back to his normal self. If you made him to his normal self again, it would take away from people just auto clicking Ace every round or Dokkaebi every round. Ying, two things need to happen to Ying. Ying's flash grenade cluster charge things need to pop off instantly. If you charge them, they pop instantly. If you don't charge them, then they're delayed. And she should not be blinded by her own gadget. I don't think she. I've been blinded by her gadget before, but most of the time I'm not. I don't know how that works, but I don't know if it is causes you to get blind or not. But in general, she should be immune to her own flashes. That's all I'm gonna say. Zophia's fine where she's at. I would love to see her get withstand back. But I will say this, Zophia's AR needs a recoil change on console. It's stupid how it gets a recoil change on PC but not console. It's just stupid in my opinion. Um, but in general, Zophia's fine. I just would love to see her get her withstand back. But she's fine where she's at. Dokkaebi, is fine where she's at. I don't think she's overpowered, even with the nerfs they've done recently to her. I don't think she's overpowered. I think being able to call somebody and then having a cooldown on that person you just called, but being able to call somebody right after that still is perfectly fine. I think she's fine where she's at. Um, and then her loadout is. This is where I would get into changing out loadouts. This is me, in my opinion, only. She has the XK23 right now, the DMR and the Boss G. I think two things. You get the Gon 6 and you get the C75 auto. The SMG 12 is taken out of her kit. It's taken out of her kit in general, and this will go down to what I would say about the nerfing of the SMG 12, and I would do something different. But the C75 auto and the Gon 6 are only her options, and they add a reticle. Like the reticle they added on the Reaper Mark II, they add a reticle to the C75 auto, and now you have a actual scope on the C75 auto. But due to getting a scope on the 375 auto, the damage will drop down to 32 instead of 35. I would say 30, but I think that might be a little bit too low. So 32. It will you go down to 32 instead of 35, but you get a scope on the 375 auto, the Gon 6, and then these three weapons. And now you don't have to worry about SMG 12 anymore on her, and the nerf for the SMG 12 will not be as powerful, in my opinion, to what I would do. And smokes and EMPs, I think EMPs should be taken off, and she should get access to smokes and breaching charges. Um, Me personally, with the SMG 12, I think the SMG 12, the damage is fine where it's at. I think the magazine should go down to 17, just like the SMG 11. Um, and I think the vertical recoil for this gun should be higher. I think the magazines. Okay, look, what I would do is the vertical recoil should be higher, but having 22 bullets, like they are gonna plan on doing 21 with one in the chamber, 22 bullets. You can have 22 bullets, but you have a higher vertical recoil, and the damage stays the same. I think that would make the gun fine because I'm taking it off one. It's not gonna be on Dokkaebi anymore. And yes, it will go to a different operator. I just haven't got to that point yet. But then everything else with Dokkaebi is fine. Lion, I think Lion is fine the way he is. Nothing should be changed about him. Finka is fine where she is. I don't think anything needs to be changed about her. It would be nice to see her gadget do what it used to do back in the day on top of the revive. Maverick is fine where he's at. Nomad is fine where she's at. Soft breaches in, yeah. Nomad is fine where she's at. Gridlock is. I think Gridlock's trap should be more of a bulletproof mechanism and requiring explosives to destroy her equipment. But then you have to add impact grenades to a lot of defenders probably. So keeping it to where it's at now, but I think making the actual traps like 40 HP instead of 35, like 40 to 50, where it's going to take 2 to 3 shots to destroy it for sure. Because some guns still one shot these, and then some guns take 2 shots. So I think 40 to 50 health is where it should be at, in my opinion. But other than that, her kit's fine. Her kit is completely fine. Me personally, with Gridlock, I think having grenades, smokes, I think you should take away the impact grenade and give her hard breach charges or soft breach charges. Because if you think about it, if you bring grenades, normally grenade is already going to be enough to help you get wall. Because most walls you can grenade somewhere to destroy the things instead of having an EMP. That's not all walls, but most walls you could find a way to use the grenade to destroy it. I mean, that's just me though. Gridlock doesn't really need to change though. Nuck, though, what needs to happen to her is two things. She either needs to get her silent step back with all the other bonuses she has currently, on top of being able to walk past proximity alarms without them going off. That's what she needs to do in general, in my opinion. Or they need to make it to where she has it to where she can hide from cameras and the silent step goes away, but she has a EMP backpack basically. So when you activate her gadget, instead of hiding from the camera, because you're hiding from the camera like Vigil, instead of hiding from it, you're actually disabling all electronics within a 7.5-meter radius. So basically, when you walk up 7.5 meters, basically walking into a door or whatever, it's gonna instantly disable a cap can, instantly disable a Malusi and all that. It's gonna disable all that. But that would kind of be a little too overpowered, I think. So because of that, I think having silent footsteps and then walking past proximity alarms without them going beep beep is probably the best scenario. Because the other ideal I have is probably a little too overpowered, but it'd be cool. And I think it's about time to give her a fucking real AR instead of a SMG like this. I think she needs to get. I think the shotgun is fine and the DMR is fine, but I don't understand why she is the only operator on attack that has a SMG as a primary with no AR option. But I think it's only her. I could be wrong though. But everything else is fine with her. I just think her kit with her actual gadget needs to be changed, or ability I should say. Amaru, this is what I'm gonna say about Amaru. Amaru should be able to, for instance, what is it called? Something like cafe. The two um I forgot what areas what they're called, but basically on the third floor where you have hatch that drops right down on the floating platform basically, um, you should be able to use Amaru to Maru up those. Basically, Amaru should be able to be used inside buildings to go up certain stuff. I mean, something like that. That or her whole kit needs to be redesigned. I'm gonna be honest. Because all she can do inside a building when she gets inside a building is go up patches. Other than that, she can't really do anything else instead of going through windows from the outside. But her kit's good. Callie, she's fine. Ayana, she is fine the way she is actually. I think the only thing that needs to change with Ayana is when an enemy shoots your hologram, they get pinged for 2 seconds. So basically, they get pinged for 2 seconds so the enemies can find out where they are. Ace, I think Ace is fine where he is. I just don't like the fact that he gets access to claymores and flashbangs. He doesn't actually have soft breaches anymore. I think he did at one point, but he doesn't anymore. So he's actually the Thermite's not the only hard breacher that can't soft breach stuff. That's actually a good thing. It's only Habana and Maverick now. I'm fine with that then. Zero. I think Zero's gun needs to go back up to 31, and that's it. Yeah, 31, and that's it. If you want it to stay at 26, that's fine, because his kit in general is fine. But if you make this gun stay at 26 and then his SMG at 31, I honestly think the Gon 6 needs to get off his kit and go to another person that can use it more better. Because honestly, you're going to be running out of ammo quicker with his main weapon. And if you can't switch to a pistol to help you finish someone off, and you only have a Gon 6, you're kind of SOL. What you could do is instead of running vertical grip, you could use angle grip, which allows you to reload faster. but it's not really as quick of a reload as you really think it is. But his kit's fine. Flores' kit is fine. I think his kit is perfectly fine. I don't know why they gave him the LMG. He didn't really need it, but it's fine. Osa, I think Osa is fine the way she is. I don't think nothing's wrong with Osa. I think she's fine where she's at. Me personally, what I would do with Osa though is, I've been saying this for a while now. I think the PDW should go on defense. I really do. I think the PDW should go on defense, but instead of having a drum round mag, he only gets a 30 round mag. So instead of it being drum, it's only a stick mag with 30 rounds. I think that'd be fine because technically it would be kind of considered a new weapon. It would technically have the same recoil as the PDW 9, but it just won't be drum magged. It'd be stick mag. That's literally all that would change. But it'd be a new weapon on defense because it is a submachine gun and it does 34 damage. If you're not running an extended barrel, it does 34. So it does the same damage and fire rate as the FMG 9. So it technically should be able to go on defense. It's just you only get 30 bullets instead of 50. I think that'd be fair. Sins. I think Sins is fine. The problem with Sins is it's a very niche operator, I think. I think it's just a very niche op. That's the problem. And I think they should have never gave Sins this weapon because now no one's gonna ever use this weapon, and this is the only operator with this weapon. So they need to give this. I mean, I wouldn't be mad if they gave this weapon to Nook. I would not be mad if they gave this weapon to Nook. I would use it more than the FMG 9. That's just my opinion. Then you have Grim. Grim is fine, especially fine where he's at. Brava is fine where she's at. Ram is fine where she's at. Deimos is fine where he's at. Aurora is fine where she's at. Because they added the new assault rifle to her. That's the only thing I would have done to her is add a different weapon to her. And then Solid Snake is fine where he's at. Well, I don't my bad. Solid Snake's kit is fine where it's at. F2 with the DMR pistol and the gadget stuff. This is where I'm going to go into the nitty gritty now to overhaul him completely. I don't know what his unique ability technically is. I think well, I know what it is, but I don't know how many scans he gets. Let's see real quick. I don't use him anymore. Solid Snake. So he gets 4 uses of his precision skill. So I would nerf his gadget to where he only gets 2 uses instead of 4. I think that is perfectly fine because I think having 4 uses is a little much for a round that only lasts 3 minutes. And normally, if it comes down to a 1v1 with Solid Snake, having 4 of those scans, you're always going to have probably 1 scan left in the pocket. So, because it literally, you get to decide when you use the scan. This is why I said you only should get 2 instead of 4. Because technically, when you open it up and you don't scan it, the thing will warn you of some enemies in there by glowing red, and then yellow if there's a camera, and then green if it's clear. And if it's red, meaning someone's in the room or in the vicinity, you then scan it if you want. You should only get 2 of those choices. It's a risk and a reward. Your reward is you kill somebody possibly. Your risk is if you use your gadget too quickly into the round that you don't have it in clutch moments when you should have it, hopefully. So I think that would clear up some of it because you gotta be honest real quick. If you have Deimos, Lion, and everything else out there, or even Dokkaebi and stuff, they're already all annoying operators, and then you add Solid Snake to the list, that literally is just a walking UAV basically. It's kind of annoying. So I think he only should get 2 scans instead of 4, and then his gadgets instead of being able to pick up ammo for his gadgets throughout the round, you get to start with 3 of each equipment. It might sound a little overpowered, but he doesn't have a. I mean, okay, maybe not 3, 2. Let's do 2. So you get 2 grenades. Well, no, you get 2 grenades, 2 flashbangs, 2 EMPs, 3 breaching, and 3 flashbangs. And then, because I did say I want the flashbangs to go back to 3, or stun grenades to go back to 3. So you get 3, 2, 2, 2, and 3. And instead of picking up ammo, I think that's how it should be. And you only get to pick one of the gadgets you want that round. I think that's perfectly fine with Solid Snake. I think that nerf would be perfect for Solid Snake. And this is the end of the video for the attackers on what I would do for the attackers on their kit changes, on top of like weapon changes and stuff. Like I said, most of the stuff is actually fine. It's just some of the kits do need to be changed, but attack is normally really good. Like I only said a couple of them where Nox kit needs to change and her gadget really needs to change. And what I would do is I would take the FMG 9 off Nook and gave her the assault rifle that Sens has. This one, the POF 9. I will put the POF 9 on Nook and then take away the FMG 9 from Nook. I think that would be perfect, honestly. Um, I also wouldn't mind seeing the F90 on some other people other than just Gridlock. I wouldn't mind seeing the F90 on someone else either. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing the F90 on somebody like, um, honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing it on Ulsa if you want to take away the 5.56 or take away her SMG and give her the F90. I wouldn't mind it, but then again, I don't think you would get the F90 on Osa if you take away the SMG, so it would have to be the AR. Technically, the F90 is probably a better weapon. It's not as high damage, but the fire rate and everything else makes up for it basically. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing the F90 on somebody like Ying. I wouldn't mind seeing it on Ying, so she gets an AR choice instead of just a shotgun and a LMG. And I've been also another thing is this shotgun, the fact that this shotgun and the shotgun that Legion has is the same shotgun, but Legion has the built-in suppressor. I think whatever skins you get for that one should also be for this one. Same thing for this one. Whatever skin you get for this one is also counts for that one. I think that should be the way it should be. Um, but no, I think one other thing I would do is probably for Habana is give her an extra set of 6 pellets. So instead of 3 sets of 6, which is what I think it's 3 sets of 6, right? Yeah, it's 3 sets of 6. So 6 times 3 is 18. You get another set of 3. I mean another set of 6. My bad. I think she should get another set of 6 pellets. I think that would make her a whole lot better. Personally, I think that would be best thing for her. IQ, I have to come up with a thought process for IQ before I decide anything with her. Shield operators I don't really care for because the new operator coming out. So there's that. Other than that, I think I'm actually good with everything. I don't think I would change much of anything up. But I will say this, I did take away the SMG 12 off Dokkaebi, and nobody else has the SMG 12 in this. So me personally, the only operators I would personally give the SMG 12 to currently is I wouldn't mind it for Callie because she has a sniper rifle only, and I wouldn't mind it for Glass. So if you take the Bearing 9 away from Glass and put the SMG 12 on, and you do the nerf still, but you don't decrease the damn damage, I don't think the damage should go down to 16. I think the damage should stay where it is, but like I said, make the vertical recoil higher on that gun with the horizontal it already has, but instead of making the horizontal happen at like 16, like round 10 between 16 or whatever, make it happen earlier in the mag, and then you should be set. I mean, you could just do what you do with it now, but I honestly think the SMG 12 just being on Dokkaebi was overpowered. I think putting it on someone like Glaz and Cowley is a better option. So, like, if you take away from Dokkaebi, add it to Glaz or Cowley. But if you add it to Glaz or Cowley, you have to take away the Bearing 9 or the SMG that she has, which is the SPS MG9. I think the SPS MG9 is fine with Cowley, so I think just take away the Bearing 9 for Glass and give him the SMG 12. And I think at that point in time, no one's just gonna be like, "Oh, I'm gonna pick Glass just for the SMG 12." No, because they're not. No, most people will still use the kit. It's just they won't use the kit. The only operator in this game that the kit is not used half of the time, people that use the SMG-12, is Warden. Because one, they probably forget about his ability being able to see through smoke and flashes. And then honestly his primaries just suck. But if you have Glash that has a sniper rifle and then having the SMG-12, you have your close range fights and then you have your long range sniper rifle. And I think that would be the best bet instead of having someone like Dokkaebi. That is just my opinion. And I think everyone else is fine. Um, on attack mainly, I did, point out some things to what I would do. But other than that, I think everything else is pretty fine. So I'm gonna end the video right here, and I hope you guys enjoy, like, and subscribe. And see you next time when I do the defenders. Peace.